All right, this is the Algebra 1, Unit 6, Lesson 9 video. And this is going to be a very brief video because, as I said previously, we are going to primarily rely on the factoring as the method of solving. In particular, in this lesson, we're going to do that. So completing the square. So completing the square is a pretty long method of solving equations that can help you when you aren't quite sure how to solve, or rather how to factor one of these equations. So we're going to kind of put that aside for now, and we'll deal with that later. It's really more of an Algebra 2 concept. But the nice thing is all of our equations are solvable using the Desmos system. And there's going to be there's some things we need to do to get that right. But in general, there's kind of one thing we have to be able to do first. But then it's really just about looking at the graph. So right here we have x squared minus 4x equals 21. We've talked a lot about this, but you need to get this into standard form. Remember, standard form is the one that is a x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. In other words, you need to make it equal to 0. So in this case, I need to subtract 21 from both sides. And I get x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. And I'm going to put that into the Desmos system. X squared minus 4x. Let's get rid of all that. X squared minus 4x minus 21. And then I'm going to go look. That's why this graph is so helpful. I have two solutions. Remember, solutions, again, are the places where the graph crosses the x-axis. So our two solutions are -3 and, positive 7. Hop back over here, and -3, positive 7. That is it for this lesson. You need to put it into standard form. You need to type the equation into Desmos, find the places where the graph crosses the x-axis. Number 2, very similar. I'm not going to spend any time on that one. I do want to talk about number 3, number 4. I'm not going to talk about 5 or 6. They are also exactly the same as the example I've done. You need to put it in standard form, graph it, and then find the places on the graph where it crosses the x-axis. Now, number 3 and 4 are hard because of the fact that we have these square roots. So how do I deal with this? Well, we are going to first we're going to first graph it. So it's already in standard form, x squared minus 6x minus 4. Let's do that right now. X squared minus 6x minus 4. And so you can see, okay, already if I was just working this out, I would be like, oh, I'm obviously concerned because these are not whole numbers. I have negative 0.606 and positive 6.606. So what number am I dealing with here? Okay, so I do want to point out something at the get-go. The thing I want to point out is there is a number that appears to be more or less at the middle of these two numbers. And again, I'm just using common sense, and it's right here. That is about the middle of these 2 points here and here. So that should help me. That's 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So let's go over here and let's look. So looking at these answer choices, I am going to just suspect that this one is my best option. But let's figure out how we might confirm that. So let's take this out over here, and we have x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 13. Well, what if it's 3 plus the square root of 13? Or 3 minus the square root of 13? Let's go look over here. 3 plus the square root of 13. 6.6055, blah, 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 blah. 3 minus the square root of 13, negative 6. Okay, so this should be clear. This and this are exactly these numbers. Now, obviously, it's been rounded, but in general, it should make sense to you that, okay, those are the numbers. So we just learned something that can help us kind of get through this process, and that is, if I look between the two roots or the two solutions, I will find some number, and that number, and I just messed that up, but that number is going to be the starting point for any problems where there is a plus or minus of a square root. So I'm going to let you do number 4. I think you use the same exact kind of mindset. Obviously, there are a couple that have 2. There's a 1 and a 4. So hopefully it will help you at least narrow down your choices. And then you're going to need to do what I did here, which is to break that out and look up those values to see if they correspond to the values we have on our graph. And in this one, it was 3 plus the square root of 13, 3 minus the square root of 13. And that's pretty much it for this lesson.